What if I told you that on their wedding night, some Amish couples don't even touch each other? No passionate first kiss, no honeymoon excitement, just a quiet night, fully clothed, lying side by side. Sounds strange, right? But for the Amish, their first night isn't about passion. It's about obedience, faith, and an unspoken set of secret rules that outsiders are never meant to know. From bizarre traditions like a bundling to shocking beliefs about intimacy, tonight we pull back the curtain on one of the most mysterious wedding night rituals in the world, the old Amish way. The concept of a bundling deep in the heart of Amish tradition lies a peculiar and almost unbelievable wedding night custom, bundling. Imagine this. A newlywed couple, finally married after months of anticipation, lying together in the same bed, but fully clothed. No touching, no intimacy, just conversation, whispers in the dim lantern light, and a slow, quiet connection. Bundling is an old practice that some old order Amish groups still follow, designed to build emotional and spiritual intimacy before physical union. The belief behind this custom is simple. Love should be rooted in faith, understanding, and companionship before passion takes over. In a world where modern couples celebrate marriage with lavish honeymoons and romantic gestures, the Amish take an entirely different approach. Historically, bundling wasn't just for the Amish. It was practiced in several Christian and Puritan communities centuries ago. Concept? A couple, often still courting, would lie in bed together, sometimes with a wooden plank or thick blanket separating them, engaging in deep conversation without physical temptation. Over time, this custom faded in most cultures, but in some Amish groups, it remains a whispered tradition. While not all Amish communities follow bundling today, those who do believe it strengthens the couple's bond in ways outsiders may never understand. To them, marriage is more than just desire. It's a lifelong commitment built on patience, trust, and shared values. So, while the modern world rushes into intimacy, some Amish couples take a step back, spending their first night simply talking, praying, and embracing the quiet comfort of being together without ever touching. A strange ritual, maybe. But for those who practice it, bundling is the foundation of a marriage meant to last a lifetime. First night guidance for most couples. The wedding night is a mix of excitement, nervous anticipation, and romantic expectations. But in the Amish world, it's something entirely different, a sacred transition guided by faith, duty, and religious teachings rather than passion. Since premarital intimacy is strictly forbidden, most Amish couples enter their wedding night with little to no personal experience. Unlike modern society, where people learn about relationships through media, friends, or even formal education, the Amish rely on tradition, discretion, and quiet guidance from elders in their community. For the bride, this guidance often comes from her mother, an older married sister, or a trusted female relative. These conversations are brief, whispered, and never explicit. The goal isn't to excite, but to prepare her for the responsibilities of marriage, reminding her that intimacy is not about desire, but about fulfilling God's will and building a family. The groom, too, receives advice, usually from his father or respected elder, on how to approach this new chapter with patience and respect. For the Amish, the wedding night is not about indulgence. It's about obedience and duty. While love and affection exist within Amish marriages, the first night is rarely about passion. It's about stepping into a lifelong commitment with humility and faith. Unlike the outside world, where intimacy is often openly discussed, Amish couples figure things out in private, relying on their beliefs and personal experiences rather than outside influence. In their eyes, marriage is a sacred bond, and the first night is not just about physical connection, it's the beginning of a spiritual journey together. No birth control for the Amish children are not just a part of marriage, they are its purpose. Unlike modern society, where family planning is common, the Amish reject birth control entirely, believing that every child is a divine gift. From their very first night together, newlyweds are expected to embrace the possibility of parenthood. There is no concept of waiting for the right time to have kids. The right time is wherever God wills it. This deep-rooted belief stems from their interpretation of biblical teachings where fertility is seen as a blessing and large families are a sign of God's favor. Most Amish couples go on to have 8 to 12 children, sometimes even more. Fulfo. These large families are not just a reflection of faith, but also serve a practical purpose. More children mean more hands to help with farming, household duties, and maintaining their self-sufficient way of life. Despite the challenges of raising so many children, Amish parents see it as their sacred duty. They believe that each child strengthens the Amish community, ensuring their traditions and beliefs are passed on to future generations. Unlike modern couples who worry about financial stability, career goals, or personal freedom before having kids, the Amish trust entirely in God's plan, welcoming each new life as part of His greater design. Modesty, even in intimacy for the Amish, modesty is not just a way of dressing. It's a way of life, extending even into the most private moments of marriage. Unlike modern culture, where intimacy is often portrayed as passionate and uninhibited, the Amish approach it with quiet reverence and restraint. Even on their wedding night, many Amish couples remain partially clothed or covered with a blanket, maintaining a sense of decorum. This practice is deeply rooted in their belief that physical intimacy should be a sacred, private act, not something openly discussed or displayed. Loud expressions of pleasure are considered inappropriate, as they go against the Amish values of humility and self-discipline. Unlike mainstream society, where couples might turn to media, books, or friends for advice, the Amish do not openly discuss such matters, even within their own community. There are no public conversations, no sharing of experiences, just quiet understanding between husband and wife. This modest approach does not mean that intimacy is unimportant to the Amish. Rather, it is seen as a duty within marriage, meant for strengthening the emotional and spiritual bond between a couple. Expressions of love are subtle, gentle touches, quiet whispers, and the shared understanding that their connection is built on faith and devotion rather than passion alone. Emotional intimacy in Amish culture, love is not defined by grand romantic gestures or fiery passion. It is built slowly, through faith, patience, and deep emotional connection. Unlike modern couples who may prioritize physical attraction, Amish newlyweds take their time, allowing love to grow in a quiet, meaningful way. On their wedding night, many Amish couples spend time simply talking, praying together, or holding hands. There is no rush, no pressure to immediately engage in physical intimacy. Instead, they focus on building trust and understanding, believing that a strong emotional foundation is far more important than fleeting passion. Expressions of love are subtle but deeply meaningful. A husband might show affection by ensuring his wife is comfortable, while a wife might express love through a simple touch or a soft-spoken word of reassurance. In their world, these quiet moments mean far more than extravagant gifts or dramatic displays of affection. To the Amish, intimacy is not about immediate gratification. It is about lifelong companionship. They believe that true love grows not in moments of excitement, but in the everyday acts of kindness and devotion that strengthen a marriage over time. By prioritizing emotional closeness over physical desire, Amish couples cultivate relationships that are rooted in trust, faith, and unwavering commitment. No experimentation in a world where modern relationships often celebrate exploration and personal discovery. The Amish remain deeply committed to tradition, simplicity, and faith-driven values. Their view on intimacy is straightforward. There is no room for experimentation or deviation from what is considered natural. For Amish couples, intimacy is not about personal pleasure or novelty. It is about duty, respect, and maintaining a God-centered union. Husbands are expected to be gentle, patient, and considerate, while wives embrace their role as devoted partners, guided by religious teachings. There is no concept of trying new things for excitement. as their understanding of marital life is based solely on faith and natural union. On faith and natural union. Unlike modern culture, which is heavily influenced by media, books, and external perspectives on relationships, the Amish live in a closed-off world where such influences do not exist. They do not watch romantic movies, read relationship advice, or seek new ways to enhance their intimacy. Instead, they follow the example of their ancestors, upholding a way of life that has remained unchanged for centuries. To them, intimacy is a sacred act meant for procreation and deepening the bond between husband and wife, not a source of entertainment or self-discovery. While outsiders may view this as restrictive, the Amish see it as a way to preserve purity, stability, and harmony within their marriages. In their eyes, love is best expressed through loyalty, faith, and unwavering commitment, without the distractions of modern desires. No modern comforts or enhancements for Amish newlyweds. Intimacy is stripped of all modern embellishments. Unlike mainstream culture, where romantic settings might include scented candles, soft music, or mood lighting, the Amish approach is one of pure simplicity, a reflection of their overall way of life. The setting is modest, often consisting of a plain wooden bed, handmade quilts, and the natural glow of a simple candle. There are no silk sheets, no romantic playlists, and certainly no artificial enhancements meant to heighten the experience. To the Amish, love and connection do not require external influences, only the bond between husband and wife. This simplicity is not a matter of neglect, but rather a deeply ingrained philosophy. Luxury is seen as unnecessary, even in moments of intimacy. The focus remains on the emotional and spiritual connection between the couple rather than indulging in sensory pleasures. Even the act of intimacy itself follows a restrained, traditional approach. There is no concept of experimenting with different settings or creating an ambiance to enhance the experience. The Amish believe that intimacy, like everything else in their lives, should be humble, natural, and free from excess. While modern couples might find this setting stark, to the Amish, it represents purity, devotion, and an unbreakable commitment to their faith and way of life. Their belief is simple. Love does not need embellishment, it only needs trust, duty, and the blessings of God. Privacy and secrecy in the Amish world. Intimacy is a deeply private matter, never discussed openly, even among close friends or family. Unlike modern culture, where couples might seek advice from friends, consult self-help books, or even discuss personal details on social media, the Amish keep such matters strictly between husband and wife. So even within their own community, there are no open conversations about wedding nights or marital intimacy. Older women may discreetly offer guidance to young brides before marriage, but once a couple is wed, their intimate life remains entirely a private journey of discovery. For Amish men and women, modesty extends beyond dress and behavior. It includes speech and thought. Talking about intimate moments is considered inappropriate, as it may lead to unnecessary temptation, pride, or comparison with others. Faith and personal experience guide them, rather than external influences. This secrecy is not just a cultural norm, but a core belief rooted in their values of humility and discretion. While modern couples may seek validation or advice from others, Amish newlyweds navigate marriage on their own, relying on trust, patience, and religious teachings. To outsiders, this might seem isolating, but for the Amish, it strengthens the sacred bond between husband and wife. Their relationship is not shaped by external expectations or societal trends. Instead, it is built solely on faith, love, and the quiet, unspoken connection they share. The Amish approach to marriage and intimacy may seem unfamiliar to the modern world, yet it carries a profound message. True connection is built on trust, faith, and emotional closeness, rather than external influences. In a world where relationships are often shaped by media, social expectations, and fleeting desires, the Amish remind us that simplicity can be deeply fulfilling. Their commitment to modesty, privacy, and spiritual connection reinforces the idea that love is not about grand gestures or experimentation, but about patience, understanding, and shared values. Just while their way of life